So today we were talking about economic systems. Market economy is the first term. A market economy is an economy that allocates resources through decentralized decisions of many firms and households as they interact in markets for goods and services. We live in a market economy. In the United States, our decisions are decentralized. You make decisions about what you're going to purchase. And the companies that you buy your stuff from makes their own decision about how much they're going to produce. And in most cases, a lot of cases, how they're going to price it, right? Counterexample to a market economy was the USSR, the Soviet Union. It was a communist market system. The government dictated everything. They were the central planner. They told people or companies how much they could produce and what the price would be, who would get it, right? The government had their hands in on everything. It didn't work. It collapsed, right? It didn't work. North Korea closed as a communist government. Their people are starving, right? China is getting a little bit better. They're starting to become more of a capital type economy, market economy, and their people the quality of life of the people is somewhat going up. So, market economy, at least if you're in the West, you think that's the best kind of economy. Underground economy, engaging in illegal economic activity, such as drug trade, or working at jobs that pay under the table to evade taxes. All right. What period in United States history was there a very large underground economy? Yeah, Prohibition. Al Capone, right? They prohibited the sale of alcohol. Al Capone produced it and sold it all over the place. All over the Midwest. He was out of Chicago. And he killed a lot of people at the same time. But you know what they finally got Al Capone arrested for?
Tax evasion.
Yeah, they got him on tax evasion. Okay, that's how they convicted Al Capone. I must confess, I was part of an underground economy. When I delivered pizza in college, I did not report my tips to the government. Okay, which you should do. So I was earning money without having to pay taxes on it. All right, so something to think about. If you have a job like that, are you going to be honest to the government about your tips? Otherwise, you're part of an underground economy. Closed economy. One that does not interact with other economies. Okay? No international trade. There are actually no closed economies as far as countries go in the world today. Every country trades with every other country somehow. Depends, interacts and trades with other countries somehow. No closed economies. Now, every once in a while you see on the news a picture of some tribe in South America throwing spears at helicopters and stuff like that because they don't want outside influence. They want to keep their tribe to themselves. Okay, so those people, they probably have a closed economy. It's kind of intriguing to think about these people that still have not had contact with the outside world. In history, there's an example of a time when a country decided they wanted a closed economy, caused a war. Anybody know what country it was and what the war was called? Yes.
Was it Japan?
Wasn't Japan. It was.
Wasn't it China with some sort?
It was China.
Like heroin or something?
What's that?
Opium.
Yeah, the opium war.
You say opium?
Yeah. Did they have a war over that?
Well, they were. I don't know the details of what the good it was, but I know that China fought Britain, and it was called, there's a name to it. Do you might know what the name is? Yeah, the Boxer Rebellion. It was the Boxer Rebellion. China decided they didn't want Britain to be trading and and they're coming to their ports and trading, so they had a war to try to have a closed economy. Okay, as I said, closed economy is used hypothetically. In actuality, not any country has a closed economy anymore. Open economy, one that interacts with all countries around the world. In this day and age, that's actually all. The internet has even made this more open. Right? The internet has made things even more open. Oh, let me go back. Probably didn't have all that written down. All right, any questions? Okay, property rights. What is a property right? Anybody? Okay, we'll do a simple example of a property right. Your parents probably own the lot of land that your house is on, right? And they can say, get out of my yard, right? If they don't know you, they can tell you to stay off their property. That's their property right. They own that. They can stop anybody they don't want from being on their yard, right? So if the kids in the neighborhood are playing football in the yard and they're tearing the yard up, they can tell them to get off, right? Stay out of my yard. That's a property right. They own the deed to that land. They own that property. There are other property rights that are more intellectual type property rights. Can anybody think of another type of property right? Yes. Yes, a patent. Eli Lilly in Indianapolis. One of the backbone of the Indianapolis economy, right? Eli Lilly, it produces these drugs, and they make a lot of money if they can get a patent on a drug, because for 20 years or however long, they own the exclusive right to that chemical they've created for the drug. No one else can use it, so they can sell it at a high price and earn billions of dollars off of it. Prozac was the first, and most recently the biggest example. Lilly found a new way to treat depression, the serotonin chemical, and they made billions of dollars off of it. They've had other drugs that they've made a lot of money off of because they own the patent. So it's the ability of people to exercise authority over the resources they own. We said patent. Let me. I'm going too fast here. Go ahead and write that down if you want. If I ever get going too fast, just tell me, stop, and I'll go back to the slide or wait, okay? All right, next slide. Patent is what we talked about. So if you have a patent, someone must get permission and or compensate an inventing firm for using its technology. Or the inventing firm, in I'd say in most cases, says, I'm the only one that's going to use this invention or this new drug. You can't use it. As long as I have the patent on it, I'm gonna reap all the profits from it. Patent. Can anybody think of another type of property right? It's kind of intellectual. Yes.
Copyrights.
Copyrights on books, right? That's anytime you use somebody's idea that has already been published in a book. You can't take credit for it. You got to give them credit. You're learning how to do that right now when you write research papers. What's common knowledge? What is an idea that this person came up with that they use that I have to give them credit for? Okay, we're talking about copyrights. Okay, giving other people credit for their ideas, unique ideas. Okay, if you want to read more about property rights, it's on page 235. All right, marginal analysis. I'll try to beat this into you. Economists think at the margin, okay? If you can learn to think at the margin in this course, you will do a lot better. If you try to think of the big picture, you may get it right, but most likely you won't, okay? But if you think of all the little steps that take place in making economic decisions, okay, and you evaluate the change, the margin, the change that affects a domino effect that affects something else, and you think of all those steps, then you will be successful. If you just think, price of this went up and the supply went down, so the price will go up of whatever, and just kind of just thinking what you think will happen, a lot of times you won't be right. Okay, so you have to think at the margin to think economically. Marginal refers to additional or incremental amounts. Marginal or incremental amounts. Additional or incremental amounts. Marginal cost is the additional cost to you over and above costs that have already incurred. Cost to you over and above costs you have already incurred. Marginal cost. When you're in a business, there's some costs you can't recover. You forget about them. You're thinking, at this time, are my marginal costs, are my marginal costs greater than my marginal benefits or marginal revenues? At that instant, right? That can help you decide whether you're going to stay in business or not. So it means not counting sunk costs, costs that have already been incurred and cannot be recovered. Marginal costs do not mean sunk costs. Do not include sunk costs. Does everybody have it? Okay. Example of a marginal cost that you guys will soon be dealing with, or a cost type that you'll be dealing with is tuition, right? When you pay tuition and you sign up for a course, right? You have, it varies, but you may have 2 weeks till you can drop with no cost lost. You get all your money back, right? There's no sunk cost. But, you may go 3 weeks and they say, okay, we'll give you 80% of your money back. 20% sunk cost. So you got to decide, is this cost of 20% that I've lost, is it worth me getting off to a bad start in this course and maybe not get a good grade, right? And then another week and they'll say, okay, we'll give you 50% of your money back. And then another week and they may say 30%, and then after that there's nothing. You can't get any money back. You can't drop it, right? It goes as a W on your transcript. So you'll deal with these type of decisions in college if you decide you think you need to drop a course, okay? Is the cost of dropping the course worth the benefit of, maybe having a little bit lower grade than I want on my transcript? Okay, so it's, you guys will deal with this stuff coming next year. Marginal benefit. Additional benefit above what you've already derived. Additional benefit above what you've already derived. All right, everybody got it? Okay. Economic decision rule, very simple. If marginal benefits of doing something exceed marginal costs, do it. If marginal costs of doing something exceed marginal benefits, don't do it. Now we say benefits, but this will turn into revenue when we do analysis because we'll put numbers to it. Hard to put numbers to a benefit, but when it'll turn into we'll still use the term marginal cost, but we use the term marginal revenue more than we do marginal benefit. Everybody have it? Okay. So we're going to talk about market structure, but I want to do an illustration of marginal thinking here for a second. So let's see, Zach. Okay, Zach, stand up. All right, stand over there. Okay, so Zach and I were down at St. Pete. We both moved down there. We decided we're going to open a hot dog stand on the beach. We want to both open a hot dog stand on the beach, right? We want to get as much business as we can. So this is the beach, right? And I am opening a hot dog stand. So I put my hot dog stand right here. Zach, where are you going to make your hot dog stand? Okay, so Zach, he makes his hot dog stand over there. So then the next summer comes and I decide, well, I want to get more of the business, so I move my hot dog stand to here. Zach, where are you going to move your hot dog stand? Okay, he moves his hot dog stand here. I'm not even going to wait till the next summer. I move my hot dog stand here, right? So I'm getting everybody that comes this way on the beach, right? So where are you going to put your hot dog stand, Zach? Zach? Okay, Zach puts his hot dog stand there. Okay, so I put my hot dog stand here. Where's Zach going to put his hot dog stand? Well, he's going to move back over there. Okay, stand right this. All right, he's going to put his here. And then I'm going to move mine here. Where's Zach going to move his? Right there, right? Okay? So that's marginal thinking, right? We're trying to capture more of the market. We're each moving incrementally. Okay, this is what happens to fast food places, right? They're all in the same place, right? Drugstores. They move right next to each other because they want to capture as much of the area as the other guy is. So that's an example of marginal thinking. All right. Market structure. So here's the market structure. We'll do a whole unit on market structure. I just want to introduce it now. Okay, so we've got the different market structures in this column. Perfectly competitive market, a duopoly, an oligopoly, a monopoly. The columns we have: number of buyers, number of sellers, who has market power. Right? Property rights give you market power. Right? If I have the patent on a drug, I have market power in the market for that drug. Perfectly competitive. The number of buyers is many. Competitive, okay? Everybody's competing. There's many buyers, there's many sellers. Okay? Who has the market power? Neither the buyer or the seller. Neither of them can dictate the price or the quantity sold. There's so many buyers and so many sellers, not one's going to influence the market. One person deciding, one gas station, what happens if we're in a competitive market, and Speedway decides, I'm going to raise my, right now we're buying gas for about $2 a gallon. Speedway decides, I'm going to raise my price to $3 because I'll make more money off of each gallon. What's going to happen?
No one's gonna
Yeah. People are going to say, forget Speedway, I'm going to go to BP and I'll buy my gas there. And no one else is going to raise their price because they know no one's going to buy. There's enough people at the lower price. So, the same thing with the seller, the buyer. The buyers, one person deciding they're not going to buy something is not going to affect the market. Duopoly. Duo means two. So there are many buyers, two sellers. Okay? And when there's just two sellers, then to some extent, they do have market power. One can decide to charge more and probably still get some of the business, right? And that type of thing. So duopoly, they do have some market power. Oligopoly, oli means few. It's many buyers, three or a few more sellers than three, right? Oligopoly. So oligopoly